With a Fox News alert, police have now killed the suspect who allegedly drove a car through a pride parade yesterday in Berlin in what authorities say was an Islamic terror attack. 21-year-old Abdul Balut is accused of killing at least one and injuring 29 others. Authorities say he has Lebanese roots and is allegedly tied to the country's, quote, Islamist scene. The suspect had previously been investigated for planning a terror attack and faced legal trouble in both Lebanon and Germany. Jason, this is not the first car attack that we have seen in Germany. You know, where do the authorities go from here?
Look, it's so sad because there are families that are grieving lost loved ones. I mean, just the sheer terror, it did what it was intended to do, which is create terror. But if people that believe in the Pride movement, whether they're and people that are Christians, people that are Jewish, people that believe in anything other than Islam, think that some of these Islamists will live in unison with others, there's a lot of them that won't. And there's a lesson to be learned there. And you got to be really careful here because there is an aggressive nature. It's not everybody, okay? I don't want to be, taking a sweeping generality to everybody, but this routinely happens time and time again. It's almost comical to me that somebody who believes in the Pride movement also believes in the Islamist movement because they're just not compatible. They're just not.
Yeah. And Tommy, this is not the first time it's happened in Europe either. And European politicians are dealing with it. And it's created a political environment there that those maybe 10 years ago thought would never exist in Germany again.
Yeah. We can learn a lot from the failed policies of Europe. And hopefully we are at this point. Suicidal empathy can ruin an entire continent in that case. And it can ruin a lot here, and we're already seeing that as well. This has also happened here. Remember Pulse nightclub? That is very real. And to Jason's point, we were talking about this off camera, but some of these folks at these universities who are marching with signs that say Queers for Palestine, they have this ridiculous delusional belief that somehow they can reach out to an Islamist, and it's like, to your point off camera, it's like you can go pet the bison and it won't gore you. No, it will. And this delusional idea that you have that somehow you can coexist with people who don't think you have a right to exist is ridiculous. But there are so many in this country and certainly in Europe who firmly believe that. And how many times does something like this have to happen before you wake up and realize that maybe you can't coexist with people who want to kill you? There's just a thought there.
And Taylor, you now have, there's a new-ish government in Germany, but the rising AfD party there, it has gotten very, very popular. A lot of it in backlash to some of the refugees that had come under the Merkel administration. This seemingly would only give them an even greater boost in politics.
What scares me is we've done some polling here in the U.S. and a lot of Americans check the box when they say, do you want to be more like Europe? And my confusion about that is if you want to be more like Europe, they believe in a globalist society without borders and no vetting. And they just somehow believe that everyone will assimilate and it'll be perfect and we're all going to sing Kumbaya together. And time after time after time again in Europe, we've learned that that does not happen. And so you can't have a country without borders and without vetting people. But we just heard the DSA candidate said they want to abolish ICE and borders and they want free reign for everyone to come in. And unfortunately, that's what you get. There was a quick town outside of Detroit. This was many, many years ago, that let in a ton of Muslims. And it was all for, the liberal white women. And then they started one by one taking over the city council, the mayor, and then they banned the gay pride flag. And I think all the liberal people in that town thought, but what do you mean? We let you come here and we thought you would assimilate, you would love America. And they said, yeah, no, we're banning pride. That doesn't exist. You're banning flags on public property. And it went through because it was public property. And the judge ruled that it was okay. And so I think that is a little test case in a tiny city outside Detroit of what can happen if you're not careful about, vetting and sort of understanding the beliefs of these people who don't like gay people and they don't like the Pride movement.
Yeah, we've heard from some of the investigators that this person was under investigation. He was born in Germany, but his mother was from Lebanon, according to police there. Well,
be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest.